Can I get everyone with an active Facebook account to please stand up? I know, again. Awesome, so let's start off by saying, if you have a Tumblr account, could you please sit down? Awesome. Next, if you have a Snapchat, could you please sit down? If you have an Instagram, could you please sit down? And finally, if you have a Twitter, could you please sit down? Perfect. So the people left standing, could you please pat your head and rub your belly? Can we give a big round of applause to our winners? You may now sit down. Now you're probably wondering why I made you get out of your seats. Firstly, for my amusement, but secondly, and most importantly, to make the point that our winners today are our social media toddlers. For these people it's alright though, they've just won a first-class pass to become digital natives. And I'm going to be your tour guide. Hi, my name's Ben. I'm 17 years old and I was born right here in the Waikato. You can find me on all of these social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, you name it. I like to do a lot of my communication through social media because that's what it's made for, right? To be social on media. See, we've reached an interesting stage in how we communicate, where us teenagers tend to know more than you adults, as much as you'd like to deny it. It's our natural habitat. It's where we spend a lot of our time. Let's think of the internet like the Amazon. The Amazon has plenty of dangers, and it's hard to navigate unless you're a native Amazonian. Imagine if you were dropped in the Amazon right now. How would you survive? What would you see? Would you see books and drones flying around and pants being sold? Probably not, because I'm talking about the real Amazon, not the website. I consider myself a digital native, and like many other teenagers out there, I know my way around the internet well. But where does this leave you? Well, you're still the people wandering around looking for pants. So let's take a tour through my Amazon, and I'll show you what the internet really looks like. In the Amazon, there are snakes and there are crocodiles. Think of these like bullies and creeps. Now, I'm not saying that kids don't get cyberbullied, because they do, and it's definitely a problem. But more and more kids are becoming aware of both the bullies and the creeps, and how to avoid them. They can join a forum of weird and wonderful people they actually like and can talk to often. But how do we get to the stage where we know more than you? How did this happen, you should be saying? Can you remember the first social media site that you joined? Bebo, MySpace, or even Facebook? 6 Degrees was the first established social media site, and this is way back in 1997, 2 years before I was born. This created the foundation for which social media is built on today. You could simply make a profile and add friends. When I was born 2 years later, blogging sites gained traction, starting the revolution of social media. So in 2003, along came MySpace and LinkedIn. See, I don't have a MySpace, and I barely use my LinkedIn. Maybe that's because I'm under 25 and not actively seeking a job? I don't know. The interesting fact there is that 79% of LinkedIn's users are over the age of 35. So in 2004, along came Facebook and changed the social media game forever. 2005 YouTube, 2006 Twitter, and 2007 Tumblr. But it wasn't until 2008 that all of these social media sites spontaneously took off. Now you're probably wondering why that is. Some people think it was a natural tipping point where there are enough people online to attract those people offline. Other people think that there was enough variety for those people offline to pick and choose what they wanted to join. But I think it was this guy. 2008 was the first electoral campaign for President Barack Obama. It was a fast, simple, and effective way to get his message out there, so people grabbed all their friends and got online. 2009 Pinterest, 2010 Instagram, and 2011 Snapchat. We are now in 2016, and Facebook has over 1 billion active users. This means if you find yourself watching a funny cat video on the internet, there is likely to be someone doing the exact same thing at the exact same time, and hundreds of others doing something very similar. It is mind-blowing to think that in just 18 years, we've gone from making a page and adding friends to sharing our whole lives through text, photos, videos, GIFs, and audio clips for the whole world to see. And this is what I've just grown up knowing. From a young age, I could connect with anyone I wanted to, as well as play games, a lot of games. The first social media site that I joined, like many people, was Facebook, and I was a bit of a bad boy back in the day, and had a Facebook account when I was just 11. I thought I was the coolest kid out. My profile picture was a picture of my hand, and I had a fake name and age. I guess it was like my 11-year-old fake ID. Thinking back on it, it was really unimportant me having a Facebook page, but it does help me realize and better understand the influence that social media has on the younger generation. And it does remind me of the time that I was in form time, and my form teacher asked me a question. What? I remembered I had headphones in. She repeated, she said, "Do you ever miss communicating with each other?" I was confused. I looked up from my phone and looked around the classroom and saw that everyone was looking down at theirs. I thought for a moment, and then I gave her this response. Everyone who looks like they're blindly staring at their phone, occasionally texting, is talking. They're just communicating in a different way, whether it's with a best friend, boyfriend, or classmate. We're sharing moments with people who we share common interests with, people we actually like to talk to. Yeah, that's actually BS. What I said was, yeah, miss, we're just talking to people we actually like. She still wasn't convinced. She said, "It's not the same though. You don't have emotions." And that's where I said, well, isn't that what emojis were made for? Duh. I spend 2 to 3 times the amount of time that you did talking to my friends, whether it's late at night, early in the morning, and of course during class. I like to spend late at night talking to my crew, just like you may have talked to your friends, on the corded phone, in the kitchen, sharing with the rest of your family. If you don't learn about new technology, how to use Facebook or the internet, you start to become left behind. It reminds me of another time I was in social studies class, and we had a reliever that day, and we were learning through the wonderful technique of watching YouTube videos. The reliever comes in and sets up the video, and it's all working fine, until she takes a step to the left, and the video stops. She said, "What's going on?" And we all obviously said, "It's just the Wi-Fi, it's slow, and sometimes it buffers." She took a step to the right, and the video played. But when she took another step to the left, and the video stopped, what came out of her mouth next, none of us could believe. She said, "Am I blocking the Wi-Fi?" So clearly we had 2 options. Firstly, we could be rational and say, "Miss, you can't block the Wi-Fi." But, on the other hand, we've been given a premium opportunity to prank our teacher. But before any of us can make a rational decision, we hear from the back of the class, "Miss, move out of the way of the Wi-Fi." So yeah, we directed the teacher around the classroom for the rest of the hour. Why, you ask? Because we could. And it's a prime example showing that if you don't learn about new technology, you start to become left behind. But it's not only what technology you learn about, it's about how you look at that technology. Do you look through the screen and just believe what's presented to you, Or do you look through it? Where did that information come from? Can I trust it? This idea of looking through the screen and not at it is important when thinking about how adults perceive teenagers on the internet, and why adults are prone to thinking that teenagers are addicted to social media. Let's dissect this. The definition for addiction is a strong or harmful need to have something, such as a drug, or do something, such as gamble, or use social media, as our case today. He checks Facebook more than 3 times a day. He's addicted. She posts on Instagram more than 2 times a day. She's addicted. Humans have a tendency to apply the term addiction to anything that people engage in frequently and enjoy. I read a couple of chapters of an interesting book by Diana Boyd. It's Complicated: The Social Lives of Networked Teens. In this, she talked about how teenagers check Facebook way more than we want to. And I'd have to agree. But does that make me an addict? Boyd and myself think not. Boyd classes it more of a time management problem, whereas I think it's just another way to procrastinate. Another interesting way to look at this addiction theory is through video gaming. It takes up more or less the same amount of time, and because of this, parents think it's harmful and dangerous. Damn kids playing in fake worlds, they're losing sight of reality. And staring at those screens all day, they're going to get square eyes. Think if you're a parent who still uses the square eyes analogy, then you're the one who's losing touch with reality. Or virtual reality. Or augmented reality. This gamer is likely to be talking to upwards of 4 different people on the other end of the Amazon. Or even someone from the Amazon. And before you go, hey Ben, there's no internet in the Amazon, it's a jungle, there is. So ha. Gamers aren't addicts. They're just, gamers, a passionate group of people who enjoy games, just like you may enjoy crosswords or breathing. So I said earlier that us teenagers check Facebook way more than we'd want to. Me, I watch way too much Netflix, but hey, that's just me. Let's use Facebook as an example. It's interesting to see the difference in how much an adult checks Facebook compared to a teenager. Teenagers likely to check Facebook 5 times a day, while an adult may only check it twice. So this must mean that us teenagers check Facebook way more than you guys. Right? Yeah, not so much. Us teenagers are likely to check Facebook 5 very quick times, while adults will usually check it 1 to 2 hours at a time. But why is that? Us teenagers have natural filters. We'll go online, check our notifications, messages, and anything that quickly interests us on our feed, and then we'll hop off. Whereas adults, from what I've found, you read everything. Every link, every article, every video, and even the ads. For adults, social media is news of the present. For teenagers, social media is news of the future. We're showing each other what we're up to, what we'd like to do, but also who we'd like to connect with. We live in an amazing era where we can make a split-second decision to send a picture of our junk to the hottest girl in school. How cool is that? And the opportunities don't stop there. Can you remember your idol growing up? Someone who you really wanted to be like? Maybe you had a poster of them up on your wall. Imagine if you could connect with that person, and I'm meaning more than just going to their concert and getting them to sign your book. Well, now you can. Social media lets you reach out to your favorite movie star or artist and join in the conversation with them. You can even invite them to your ball. Although, I don't think sending a picture of your junk is the best invitation. So where have we got to? We're becoming more reliant on the internet. But is that really a bad thing? It's teaching teenagers how to look through the screen and not at it, without them even knowing it. We as a society need to realize the benefits that social media has on the younger generation, and how they use the technology that we have crafted. Stop and think while you're telling someone to get off the internet, or saying that Facebook is a dark and horrible place. The dangers are out there, of course, but just as much as in the real world, there are still criminals on the street, scammers, scamming people, and bullies in the schools. But we now have a generation of kids who know about all these problems, and are teaching each other what should and shouldn't be clicked, where to put their information and where not to put it, and who to talk to and who not to talk to. Teenagers aren't becoming more addicted to social media. It's like becoming addicted to a conversation, which is, quite frankly, strange. We're evolving and must resist those pulling us back to the past. This evolution in communication should be cherished and not condemned. So as I walk away today, I'd like to leave you with this one final thought. I implore you to start looking through the screen and not just at it. Find out where your information comes from. Don't just believe the stuff that's presented to you. This will help you to prank your teachers, distract you from your homework, and talk to people you actually like.